Network is just getting bigger and bigger. Thank you for joining and tuning in to Insta and Facebook Live. We're going to crack ahead. Welcome once again, everyone, to the Wildflower Network's launch today, virtually. My name is Jessica Answer, and today I have the privilege to be interviewing Adjoa Owusu-Banahene. She's the brain, the mastermind behind the Wildflower Network. But before we discuss the Wildflower Network, tell us a bit about yourself, Adjoa. Tell us a bit about your journey.
Okay, so my journey has been an interesting journey. As a young person, as a teenager, as a youth growing up, I grew up in Enfield, which is an outer London borough, and part of my growing up, so Enfield is a highly deprived area, and what that means is that we have high levels of deprivation.
Okay.
So our schools, our hospitals, our facilities, we don't have the best of things. And what that means is that it affects their life outcome and our life chances. And again, with that comes high level of crime, antisocial behavior, gun crime, knife crime. And I grew up early 2000, and there was high level of crime, gang culture, and knife crime. And against that backdrop, it's really difficult to be a young person, go to school and stay on a narrow path. But I think a combination of my nature and my nurture meant that I was a bit of a wild child.
Okay, what do you mean by wild child?
I would have to say, and it's quite ironic that this initiative is called Wildflower. So what I mean by being a wild child is that when I was growing up during my secondary school years, I got involved in things like shoplifting. So me and my friends, we would go around the shops and we would just shoplift. Like things like lip gloss and actually we used to use alcohol. Okay. Yeah. I used to do binge drinking. Okay. So we would, sometimes we would not go to school. We would truant. And we would go to maybe one of our friends' house, and we would drink. And some of my friends, I didn't smoke, but like some of my friends would engage in smoking weed and things like that. And then on top of that, I was a hardcore raver.
Okay.
When
you say hardcore.
Like I could rave Friday evening.
Okay.
I could rave Saturday evening.
Okay.
And I could rave Sunday evening.
So you had stamina.
Yes. I love to dance. I still do, but I just channel it in a different area. So I was just thinking when it was like a bank holiday weekend or something like that, we would go raving on Friday. We would go raving on Saturday. We would go raving on Sunday. And that was the what I would get involved. I got involved with, and then on top of that, relationship with guys that I knew was not healthy for me, but I would engage in relationships, and I actually ran away from home once. And so against that backdrop, I think now I know, and I have the understanding, I have the knowledge that when you grow up in such an environment, these are some of the behaviors you resort to because of your programming and because of your conditioning. And really, I was responding to things like isolation, loneliness, because again, my family background, we were what you class as a low income family. Okay. So free school dinners. I got my full student loan. I didn't have to pay anything for university because my parents didn't have much. Okay. So we never did much. We didn't go anywhere. We didn't go holidays. We didn't. But for me, I was somebody that actually cherished those things. And my parents would work a lot, and therefore I played netball. I did drama. But they'd never come to any of my matches. Bless my mum. She's my biggest role model, and I love her to bits. Wow. And I think it's her prayers, it's my mum's prayers, and I'll talk about my turnaround. My mum's prayers broke strongholds in my life. Okay. Because I talk about, the things that I got up to. I wouldn't go to school. We will be in somebody else's house when my parents thought I was in school. Okay. And we will be drinking, and we will be just, messing around with guys. And we will be, after school, I won't go home. We will go somewhere else, and we'll go and do shoplifting. Okay.
So take us through the turnaround, because you've done so much. Binge drinking, chilling with your friends. like, so you were a nightmare for your mum essentially. But when did that turnaround come?
Yeah, so I was a challenging child. And the turnaround for me, I think it was when I ran away from home. Okay. So I ran away from home and I stayed away for 2 weeks.
Okay.
That time my mum was in Ghana, and when she came back from Ghana, and there was one of my friends that we were really close with, her mum. We used to go there to do like these cultural dances and things. So I remember my mum coming to her to cry to her to tell her daughter to call me to come home.
Oh.
And I remember when like my friend, because my mum went to her mum, because my friend, we were really close at that time. And when my mum came, they called me, and my mum was like crying. She was in tears, begging me to come home.
Bless her.
And when I eventually went back home, and I mean, against all of this, I was still going to church.
Okay.
You know, church was there. It was something you did because my mum wouldn't let me stay at home. So you had to go to church.
Okay.
Although I would go raving on Saturday evening, I would still go to church on Sunday because my mum wouldn't let me stay at home. So I'd go to church, not really listen, and I wouldn't really be there because I'm so tired. But through all of that, and I remember when I ran away and I came home, and my church at that time, we used to do youth conference every year. They used to do a youth conference, and we would go away for a week. That time we used to go to Derbyshire, very remote, and then we would stay there. And I remember that you would have to register, and I had missed the registration period because I wasn't around when they were registering. And when I came back and it was time for them to be going, I remember my mum begged at that time the youth leader that was spearheading the whole thing. She begged him to let me go, just to add me on.
Such a resilient woman.
Yeah, I just remember so much her begging. I'm thinking, I don't even want to go. Like, why are you forcing me to go? But she begged him to let me go.
Wow.
And I mean, now I look back on it and I say thanks be to God. So somehow they allowed me to go, and I went.
Okay.
And then I think because at that time I had run away, and then it's like I didn't really know what I was doing with myself. So I really cried unto God, and I said, God, help me. I want to stop this life. I don't want to go on like this anymore. I'm getting emotional talking about it.
Yes, yeah.
And so God has been good.
So you would say your faith is what made you turn around?
Yeah, because I think during that conference, I prayed so much to God. I said, God, help me. I want to live a different life. I don't want to live this life anymore. And God really came through. God heard my cry. And I remember that conference, I was baptized by the Holy Spirit. So for people that don't know, as Christians, we believe in the Holy Spirit. And we believe that when we get the baptism of the Holy Spirit helps us to live our life. Okay. Because the environment that we're living in is not easy. And without the Spirit of God, you can't do it. And I remember being baptized with the Holy Spirit at that conference and coming back and thinking, God, I want to live for you. I want to change my life. But obviously it's not easy when you've been engaging in all of these negative behaviors and these activities that are not great. So I would be at church. I would be involved at church, but I was 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Okay. I was still when we came back, I was good for a bit, and then I would lapse, and I'll still get on and, do all the things that I was doing that I knew it wasn't good for me. But at that point, I had a conflict in my spirit that I knew that the life that I was living was not great. And then to top it off, like some of my friends got arrested, for shoplifting.
Wow.
Yeah. So then I was thinking, okay, it's either I stop or
this is the road.
This is the road for me. So eventually, just help by praying, going to church, just maintaining. Because there was a point that I remember I wanted to leave church, and my mom was like, "You're not gonna leave church," And then I was like, I don't want to go to church anymore. I don't feel it. And my mom's like, "You're not gonna leave," And she really, I think I would be here if it wasn't for my mom's prayers. But then at a point, I had to make a decision. Yeah. I had to decide that this is not the life for me. But so with it all, I would come in and I'll go out, I'll come in and go out. And then I think it was after GCSEs. Okay. With all of that behavior, I was still quite somebody that had a lot of ambition.
Okay, I was just about to ask. So, you've taken us through your early stages. You've taken us through the turnaround when you went to the youth camp. And then how did this all project in your academic journey?
Yeah, I think throughout secondary school, I was somebody that wanted more. So although we didn't have much, although we didn't, have a lot of money, we live in a council flat, we didn't go on holidays, we didn't do any of those things. But deep down, I wanted all of those things. I wanted to have a nice house. I would remember when I used to stand up. So we lived on the 6th floor of my council flat, and I would see into the garden of like the neighboring houses. Okay. And I remember that I would always wish that one day my kids, because I know I didn't get it, but I would wish that my kids will have the opportunity to play in a garden that is a house that's owned by us. Okay. That was my biggest dream. And then I also really wanted to go to university, because although we didn't have it, and this is why now when I reflect back on my life, I know that whatever God instills in you, that's what he's going to use to glorify himself. Because I love to go out. I love to have a good time. But I don't know where that comes from, because it's not like I didn't have that when I was growing up. But it is there because God is using that to bring glory unto his name and for me to fulfill my purpose. Yeah, so I wanted a better life than what I had seen. And sometimes there are two categories of people, where it's either you allow your environment to dictate and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So when they say, oh, this child, you will never amount to anything. This child, you will never do this. And I used to get that because my behavior was equal to, will not amount to anything.
But then what happened?
But I was somebody that at some point, I thought, that's not going to be my life. I'm going to change my life around because I want better for myself. I want to have a nice house. I want to be able to go on holidays. I want to be able to go out and eat. I want to give everything that I didn't get for my children. Yeah. So when I finished GCSE, and I did really, really well. Okay. So even though I was actually not behaving badly, when it came to school, I was good. Okay, so you were one of those annoying people in the class that they would be so naughty, but then the A stars. I actually really was. Okay. Because I would go around with my friends and everything, but when it came to school, like I was one of those people that I could do my homework early, get my teacher to check it, and then redo it. Oh, okay. Yeah. That's so when it came to school, I didn't play. Okay. Like I was doing my work, I was in all the top sets. So, that helped me as well because some of my friends, we were not like in the same sets when it came to maths, English and science. So you could concentrate. So when it came to studies, I was there. Yeah. I would do my work, I would get my teacher. So after GCSE, I thought I need to buckle down. I chose to stay at school to do my A-levels. And then that's when I really began to take God seriously, take my studies seriously, take myself seriously. Okay. And so I began to really think, okay, there's a better way out there. There's a better life for me. I was getting more connected with myself, understanding me, what God had placed in me. And I realized that there was great potential. And then also my mom would always say that, you'll be great. You will do great things because, you're good. So words of affirmation, words of encouragement. It really creates, it's very creative. Our tongues are creative, so with all of that. So I did my A-levels and I did really well. And throughout my A-levels, I think like relationships, unhealthy relationships was my biggest thing to break at that time. I remember I was going out with this guy that my mom really hated. Oh my God. And that's always a red flag. Guys. Yeah. My mom did not like this guy. And this was during my A-levels. I would, but the guy really showed me so much love. And I think as human beings, that's our number one need. And my mom just was not interested. And this was so interesting how it broke up. And I said, Mom, and she said, I was praying. They always say, out of nowhere, he just left. Like he was deported to Ghana. Okay. And that was it. Like he left my life. And I focused. And glory be to God, I managed to do well in my A-levels. Fantastic. I got admission to University of Birmingham. Okay. And then I studied engineering at the University of Birmingham, mechanical engineering. Which is amazing because that's a heavily male-dominated subject. And at that time, we're talking a good 12 years, almost 15 years ago now. People from our background didn't go to university. And if you went to university, you didn't go to Russell Group.
Yeah.
And then if you did, you didn't do engineering. And then if you did, you didn't come up with a first class degree.
Okay, so you got first class.
Yes, I went to University of Birmingham. I studied my Master of Engineering, so I did 4 years in university. And then I graduated with a first class degree.
Amazing.
Yes. I did a year abroad, so I studied 1 year in America. And when I finished, I started off my career as a graduate engineer. And I mean, that had its own challenges where we talk about. But I've worked and built my career. Now I'm not in engineering anymore. I work as a consultant. I work as a construction procurement consultant.
Procurement consultant. Okay, that's a mouthful.
Yeah, so
break that down for us.
Yeah, I'm a senior construction procurement consultant. So currently I'm working with London Borough of Newham.
Okay.
And they are on a big, massive regeneration and housing project. So they're building new homes they've got a long list of people waiting on their housing list.
Yeah.
And so we are working at the moment to build about 1,000 homes by 2025.
Okay, that's very ambitious.
It's very ambitious. I mean, the mayor now for Newham Council, she's on a mission to get Newham up, because Newham is like one of the number one deprived areas in London. So they're really trying to turn it around. So what I do is I lead on the procurement of bringing in construction workers to build the houses for us.
Some of our women who are watching, how would you describe procurement?
Procurement is very diverse.
Okay.
So essentially, and it's not something that a lot of people come across because it's not something that you study in uni.
Yeah, I never heard of procurement when I was in school.
So it's part of supply chain. Procurement is part of supply chain, but really it's about engaging and interacting with organisation and leading on their behalf to contract. To when organisations want to do something and they don't have the resource, the knowledge or the skills to do it, they have to find somebody else to do it. So for example, if I wanted to buy milk, I go to Tesco and I buy it on a personal level. But at the corporate and at the business level, it doesn't work like that.
No,
you need some negotiation, you need some contract that's drafted up to say this is your half of the deal, this is my half of the deal, and that's what I do on behalf of the organization. So I lead on negotiations, I lead on drafting contracts for them, I lead on ensuring that they get a solution. So coming back to the milk analogy, I go to Tesco, I want semi-skimmed, I want 6 pints, that's my specification. So when I do that, when it comes to business level, we look at the specification, we tell our clients this is good, this is not good, because as a business they want to make money, but they want to reduce what we call risk, because they don't want to get involved in something that is going to end up being a problem for them.
Yeah.
So we look at the whole picture, we look at the offer, and we say this is a good offer, we've got a lot of risk, but these are the areas. So we will go back to the people that we're doing business with and we'll say to them, okay, we don't want this, we don't want that, we want this, we want that. And then there's a lot of back and forth, to and fro. It takes a long time. I'm working on a construction now at the moment, a tender, and we've been working on it since last year.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you have to be really patient for your job role.
Yes, wow. You do. You need to have your faith, but it's varied. You don't do the same thing every day. And specifically, I'm in the public sector as well. And public sector is a whole different ballgame because there's a lot of laws and rules and regulations that you have to follow. So it makes everything even more stringent and more onerous. Okay. But that's what we have to do.
Thank you so much, Adra. You've taken us through. I feel like I've read your autobiography.
Coming soon.
Thank you so much for that. We're going to crack on. And just in general, how have you been feeling about today's launch?
Oh my gosh, it's been an emotional roller coaster. So it's been a real emotional roller coaster. So at one point, so when it's like a pendulum, it just swings up and then it swings up, down. So at one point I'm up and I feel like Superwoman, I can do this, I've got this. And then at another point I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. You get this thing, what they call imposter syndrome.
Yes.
Where you feel like they're gonna just find out that I don't know anything. What am I talking talking about. So I've had all the emotions, excitement, nerves, but I think I call it a power combo. When you've got excitement and you've got nerves.
Okay, power combo.
Yes, it's the power combo of emotions. It sets you off because the excitement moves you on, but then the nerves makes you do more. Like, it makes you check. It makes you put more extra work in. And when you've got that combination, as long as you don't go to overwhelm, because then you actually stop being productive. Yeah. So it's just the right amount, the balances. If you have the right balance of excitement and nervousness, it works well to really make you productive and to get you going.
So we're here today.
Yeah.
For the launch. So what is Wildflower?
Wildflower. So I'll start off with the concept or the idea of what a wildflower is.
Okay.
Now, a wildflower is a flower, basically. It's in this name.
Yes.
Yeah. So a wildflower is a flower, but it's a unique flower because most flowers are grown. It has human intervention. It has a lot of work that people do to it, the environment and everything, and before it to grow. But a wildflower grows without any human intervention. It grows in environments that are not conducive. So we know from science and from learning that in order for something to grow, you have to have sunlight, the earth has to be good, there has to be moisture, there has to be, the conditions has to be right for it to grow. But a wildflower defiles all of that odds and it grows anyway. So that is what a wildflower is. And the vision of Wildflower, or the Wildflower Network, is to help and support young women, especially Christian women, because I'm passionate about Christians and young women. So when you put that together, it's to help us and support us to be like the wildflower, to blossom regardless of our environment. Because I've already spoken about the environment that I grew up in. And there's a lot of research and statistics to tell us that usually people are a product of their environment.
Very true.
Unless they have been very intentional and purposeful in their skill sets or their development. Yes, unless the person has been very intentional in their growth, in their personal growth, in their spiritual growth, and in their professional growth, usually you become a product of your environment.
Yes.
So most of us, where we are now, is a product of our environment. It's not been intentional. It's not been purposeful. And most of us were displaying behaviors. I talked about some of the behaviors I engaged in. It's only now that I can reflect and understand that most of those behaviors was due to insecurities or due to a feeling of wanting to belong or a feeling of isolation. And these were some of the reasons or the emotional needs that I was acting out in terms of the behaviors that I was displaying. But most of us don't even know that our behaviors are as a result of our environment.
Yeah.
And if you don't know that, you can't change it.
Very true.
And the Wildflower is all about helping us to understand, grow the self-awareness to know that this behavior that I'm displaying, I know it's not good for my growth. I know it's not good for my development. I know it's not good for the potential that God has placed in me. As for that reason, I need to be able to have the tools and the skills and the techniques to be able to develop the right knowledge, right understanding, right skills to really fulfill your potential, because your environment is not giving you that. The environment is not conducive. The environment is not supportive. The environment is not in any way trying to help us. And I cannot stress that enough. People from our background and where we've grown up in, the environment is not helping us. So our schools are not helping us.
Okay.
The schools do not raise our aspirations. They do not help us to attain. So most of us, we settle, or we don't believe that we can do it. We don't believe in our self-worth. We don't have the confidence to go after the things that we want to go after. So Wildflower is about helping the young Christian woman to get the confidence that she needs to go after the things that she wants to go after, and to have the self-belief to know that she can do it.
Confidence and self-belief.
And then the self-worth.
Self-worth.
To know that she deserves it.
Wow. Okay. That's deep. You've just given me the Wildflower Network's vision and mission.
Yeah.
That's really powerful.
Yeah. So it's all about, because I've come to realize, and I've worked about 11 years now.
So you have got a lot of experience.
I've got a lot of experience in corporate world. And I've come to realize that you can have all the qualifications that you have. So nowadays I have a lot of you, when I mentor young people, I ask them. Some of them will say, I finished uni, I'm going to do masters.
Masters, yes.
What are you going to do a masters for?
We've had these conversations before.
What's your masters going to do for you? You need experience. And to top that up, you need confidence. Confidence doesn't come from sitting behind the books. Confidence comes from doing and knowing who you are, knowing who's backing you. And a lot of us, we don't have the confidence or we don't have the courage. Wildflower aims to support us to build the confidence. Confidence makes all the difference. And I'm always joking with one of my cousins and I say, look, I have seen the biggest, the tallest, the smallest, the fattest, whatever type of person that as people we have in our mind that they shouldn't progress, they shouldn't do well. But because of the person's confidence, they are the head of, they are directors, they are CEOs, because they are confident beyond all odds. So if we can be confident in who we are, have the self-belief in our abilities, and have the self-worth that we deserve to own the space. We don't need anybody to tell us that we should tone down or calm down. We can occupy our space and do our thing.
We can occupy our space. That is powerful.
and do our thing. That when we have those three elements nailed down, we will be unstoppable.
Wow. Guys, let me just remind you about the giveaway because I'm nice like that. Please, if you haven't already decided to be a part of the giveaway, subscribe on YouTube, subscribe on Insta. You've heard everything Adra has had to say. You know, she's given away free one-to-one mentoring sessions. That's part of the giveaway. So just follow the instructions and the winners will be announced at the end of our interview. So Adra, let's just continue on. The vision sounds amazing. The mission for Wildflower Network also sounds very amazing. I'm just interested and I want you to tell us a bit more about the Blossom Regardless formula because I think it's very, very interesting. So tell us a bit more about that.
Okay, so Blossom Regardless formula. And again, this is through experience, through learning, through research that I've done. I've come to realize that for any one individual, for any one person to do well, fulfill their potential, have the peace and a meaning in their life. As human beings, there's three parts to us. We're three-dimensional. We're made of the spirit, we're made of the soul, and we're made of the body. Now, in order for any of us to do well in whatever we want to do, we have to master our spirit, we have to master our soul, and we have to master our body.
Okay.
And through this, the Blossom Regardless formula I have developed is made up of three pillars. And this is what I have called, so the spiritual element, where you have to master your spirit, is to what? Connect to your source. Because your spirit, and it's your source. That's where you're generating from. It's a power higher than you. Now, we're living in a world where there's such an attack on the Christianity and our faith. And we're told not to bring it into our workplaces. But really, the spiritual industry is booming. You get people paid thousands of pounds to go to India or Thailand on a spiritual retreat.
Yeah, mindfulness is such a big thing.
They want to call it energy or universe. I call it God. Okay. The creator of the heaven and earth. So even the corporate world and the people that are telling us that we should tone down on our faith, on our spirituality, they've come to realize that they need the spirit. They need something that is higher than them, beyond them, to believe in order to have meaning and fulfillment. So this is the first pillar of the Blossom Regardless formula. Okay. If you're connected to your source, where you're coming from, and again, this is if you believe that you believe in creation or existence, and you just came out of monkeys or whatever it is that they tell us.
Evolution.
But yes, it's whether you believe in evolution or creation, because we are created, we are designed, and the designer has a purpose for us. And when you connect to the designer, he will tell you what your blueprint is. He will tell you what the architecture, what he's designed. I'm into building, I'm into construction. So I get a lot of analogies with buildings and construction. So before we go to construction, I'm working on construction center. But before we can get there, we've had a long 1 year of designing the buildings.
Wow.
We've been working with architects. We've been working with what we call engineers. We've been working with consultants to design the building.
So it's all very intentional.
It's intentional. They want 100 bedrooms. They want 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom. They want it to be heated, water, kitchen needs to have this. Everything is intentional. It's for a purpose. It's to fit the vision and the goal. And when you're connected to the source will download all of this for you. And you don't have to be on a rat race, always chasing your tail, because you've got no clue what the purpose is. So that's the
first pillar.
The first pillar. The first pillar is the connection to your source.
Connection to your source.
To your source. And you can call it whatever you want to call it. But I'm calling it God. Okay. And He's the creator of the heaven and earth. But I leave people to call it energy, universe, whatever they want to call it. I'm not sweating anybody, but that. So what I say to people is, you call it what you want to call it. Leave me to call it what I want to call it as well. So the second pillar is connection to self.
Connection to self.
So you as the person, you as the building, you as the design, you've been designed to do something, and there's things in you that enables you to fulfill whatever that design is supposed to do. So we come with talents, we come with giftings, we come with abilities. And in order to be able to really blossom, regardless of your environment, you really got to understand what you're coming with. What are you coming to the party with? Because that's where our confidence, apart from knowing that God has got your back, your confidence will come from knowing that, yes, I'm gifted. Yes, I've got talents. And these are the things that I have, that I'm bringing to the party. So when you go somewhere, you're not trying to compete with anybody, because you are unique.
You're secure in yourself.
You're secure in yourself. You're unique to the world. Yours is different. And it's okay. You don't need to have somebody else's. And when we have that mastery of self, we will be able to blossom regardless. And then the third pillar, it's all very well knowing what your gifts are. It's all very well knowing what your skills are. But if we're not using it, if you're not doing anything with it, it's not serving any purpose. And the third pillar is to serve. So the third pillar is service. Using our giftings, our talents, our abilities to serve. And when you do that, you fulfill a purpose. When you do that, you fulfill a need. You make an impact. And that's where you are blossoming regardless of what is going on around you. Whether the earth is ripe or it's not ripening. Whether the schools are good or not. Whether your hospitals are good or not. Whether they have facilities or they not. Whether they're trying to tell you that you're black so you should stay in your lane. It doesn't matter. You are moving on because you know who you are. You know who's backing you. And you are serving your purpose. That is what blossoming regardless means.
Wow. Thank you for that, Adwoa. So, you've told us the plans that you have for 2021, and we know we're praying and hoping that 2021 will be even better and bigger than 2020. So in terms of long term, where do you see, I'll try and be a bit nice and narrow it down for you, but in the next 5 years, if we're talking about the Wildflower Network, where would you like to see the Wildflower Network?
I see Wildflower Network impacting and developing many, many young women to really reach. And I have a particular passion about the corporate world, seeing more young black women come up. I started my career 10, 11 years ago, and my first rotation was one village in Nottingham. It was in Nottingham, but I had to drive 1 hour to get to the place.
Okay.
That tells you how remote it was. And there was not one black person in the office. I think it was in the factory that eventually one black person joined. And against that backdrop, you don't meet black managers. So I think that caused me a lot of confusion. I didn't know how to dress. I didn't know how to do my hair. I didn't know what was acceptable, because you're so different. You don't see anybody that looks like you. Anybody that you are aspiring to be. in that when you look at the senior management, nobody looks like you. And that is really confusing. And I think what that does to us as young people in the workplace is that it results in lack of visibility. It results in a lack of a voice, and it results in lack of validation. Because when there is people ahead of you that looks like you, it's visible, you can see that this thing is attainable. It's not so out of reach or out of sight. And because they are there and the other managers are there, they see that, oh, somebody like this can also do this role.
Yes.
So they can promote you and they can put you there. And then also voice, because a manager that looks like you is there, they can speak on your behalf. They can advocate for you. They can champion you. But when you don't have that, nobody is representing you, nobody's advocating for you, and then also I've seen my white counterparts, we start with, they find a manager that takes a liking to them because they can see themselves in them, and they bring them up. They hold their hands, they attempt to take them to meetings, they guide them, they coach them. They fly. I mean, when I reflect on my experiences, and I'm thinking, if I had those people in my life, probably now I would be further than where I am now. But all is not lost. We are moving on.
Yes.
I've come to see, directors that are black now. That thanks to technology and social media and networking, I'm seeing more black directors. I'm seeing more black women that are head of departments,
which is fantastic.
Which makes you then realize that, oh, it's actually okay.
It's attainable.
It's attainable. And also, I can even take my afro hair to work. Yes. And it's not an issue. I can wear my big earrings, and it's not an issue. Because it's not about my hair or my earrings. It's about my confidence and my competence.
Yes.
That's what it's about. And when we know these things, we will be able to. And so I'm really particular about representation.
So in the next 5 years, through the Wildflower Network, you'd like to see more visibility.
I'd like to see more visibility of young black women occupying senior. So I'm talking about C-suite. They call it C-suite. Chief executive roles, director roles. I'm very particular about this because there's not enough representation. There's not enough of us out there at that roles. That makes us, the younger ones coming up, aspire and also inspire. We need that. We need to be able to be inspired and also to aspire.
And I think in what you were saying as well, the vision of the Wildflower Network within the next 5 years is actually to give confidence to the ladies who become a part of this network to also be able to mentor others and bring others up as well.
Absolutely, because nobody can do it on their own. We are not an island. And I already said that when I've seen my white counterparts, they've come in, a manager takes a liking to them, they hold their hand, they show them the ropes, all you need is somebody to be telling you, don't write that email that way. Sometimes you start an email, you'll be sitting on the email for half an hour because you're writing the email to a director and you don't know how to put the English together. The English is not coming. Or you don't even know how to structure it, how to make it. There's a way of communicating that if somebody is ahead of you, they can tell you, can, bounce it off them and say, oh, by the way, I need to write this. What should I say?
And that only comes with experience. And you don't get taught that in university
or
when you're doing an apprenticeship.
It doesn't come from studying. It's only coming from experience or being coached.
Yeah.
When you're coached, when you have people ahead of you that takes a liking to you, that can see themselves in you, and they bring you along. So this is what the Wildflower is about, to be a network so that we can reach out to people, we can support ourselves, and we can also support the ones that are coming up so that we can really fulfill our potential.
Thank you so much, Adjoa. And just, for our viewers that might be thinking, okay, Jessica, thank you, for bringing Adjoa on today. Adjoa said so much about the Wildflower Network. But why should, ladies join Wildflower Network when there's so many other networks they could join, so many other platforms? Why Wildflower and why now?
Yes. I think I've touched on all of this, but I'll summarize it as this. Wildflower, there's a lot of information out there. But personally, I'm somebody that's very methodical. So I like to understand the how. You can get all the knowledge that you want. So there's a lot of information, knowledge-wise, head knowledge out there. But it doesn't lead to building skills that really, or building the confidence that can really spur you on into something. So Wildflower is different because it's going to give you tools. It's going to really be training. Prior to Wildflower, I was running a program called High Achievers Program.
Yes.
And we do workshops where we train people on how to communicate, how to build a good CV, how to be self-aware, how to negotiate. These things are learnt. And but it's not taught in comprehensive schools. The private schools teach their the elite children. And that's why the UK, all their jobs that are fantastic goes to the people from the private school, because they are taught these things. We're not taught it. And Wildflower is going to teach us that. It's going to help. And when we did High Achievers Program, the testimonies that came out of that, in terms of people gaining the skills to really make an impact and make a difference in the workplace, was amazing. And I want to bring all the pillars, because personally, that's what I've come to realize. When we have our spiritual sorted, when we have ourselves sorted and our service sorted, it's the full package, and it makes all the difference. And a lot of the things out there is targeting one area. It's not targeting the full spectrum.
Okay, so you're covering, this is a multifaceted approach towards one's development.
It's a holistic development.
Okay, fantastic. So what is the process in joining Wildflower Network, Adjoa?
Very simple. You see, we like to make things simple for you. So it's a Wildflower_network on Instagram, on YouTube, and on Facebook. So you can join us on Instagram, Wildflower_network. On YouTube, you can join our, subscribe to our channel. We're going to be releasing the first episode straight after here.
Very excited.
YouTube, go and listen to how the environment affects us and the work that we need to do in order to be able to blossom. Our second episode, again, is going to go deeper. Somebody was asking me, did I do psychology? No, I did engineering, but I've become so fascinated with psychology, how we behave, how we act, our beliefs. And our second episode will be all about understanding our environment, how that builds our belief system, and then how that builds our behaviors. Because some of us were trying to change some behaviors, but it's not moving, it's not shifting. It's because there's an underlying belief that needs to be broken before that behavior will shift.
Yes.
And we will be going a bit more into detail about how we can do all of that. So really excited. Stay tuned.
So we can join from Instagram or YouTube. And then in terms of moving forward, when the workshops do start coming, that will be also communicated on those social media platforms.
Yes. So I think the idea is that we will build a community. So through joining us on the Instagram, through joining us on YouTube and our Facebook, we will begin to build a community. And again, my aim is to be collaborative and to co-create. So depending on the demand, I see a community, a group coming through where we will have webinars, we will have events, group coaching sessions with people that are really, really interested, because we want people that will take action. Because this is all about action taking. If you don't take action, don't expect results. Some of us, we want quick fixes. There is no quick fix.
Okay.
This is about taking action. Sometimes it will be uncomfortable. We would have to move out of our comfort zone. If you have never done a YouTube live or Insta live or Facebook live, you're doing it like today, So we are moving out of our comfort zone to do things that we've never done before. But that's the only way that we're going to grow. We're not going to grow being comfortable and sat where we are. If we truly want growth, we got to take action.
Fantastic. So guys, you heard from Adjoa herself. It's very easy to join the Wildflower Network. So just follow us on our social media platforms. And again, I will mention the giveaway. We are going to be announcing the winner very shortly because our interview is coming to an end. So please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also follow us on our Instagram page, Wildflower_network. So yes, we will be announcing the winners very, very soon. Adjoa is very generous, so there will be 3 winners today, and then we will be in touch with you because there's been such a demand for the giveaway. We decided to keep it open up until the end of today's interview, and then we will be announcing the winners, and we'll be getting your contact details to send out your prizes to you, and then you will have one-to-one mentoring sessions with Adjoa. it should be costing a lot of money, and I could be the middleman. I could be happy to collect those funds, but because Adra's so passionate to see women blossom regardless of their the conditions they find themselves in and in the environment, she will be giving up her time, her precious time, to mentor you to be the best that you can be. Any final words for us, Adra?
Yes, it's been amazing. Wildflower has been brewing for a long time. As I've already said, I've done it in various facets, various elements. So I do mentoring anyway. I do professional mentoring. She forced me to do professional mentoring for her. She works with the Princess Trust, and she really put she pressured me so much. I said, okay, I'll do it. But it's been such a blessing, and I mentor with the Princess Trust. I mentor with another charity called the Social Mobility Foundation. And I also work as a youth support worker for my local council. So in terms of supporting people and helping people and coaching people is what I do. I love to do it. It's my passion. And I've been volunteering for the past 5 years in doing it. So,
and you're also the founder of High Achievers Program?
Yes, I'm the founder of High Achievers Program, which is, again, and that was only looking at the professional pillar. So helping and making an impact and coaching and mentoring is my passion. I believe that I'm an encourager at my core. When they talk about the giftings, and I think the gifts of the Father, my gift of the Father is encouraging. I just want to know what anybody, if you ask anybody in our church, Adwa, they will tell you. I'll ask you, what job are you doing? What are you studying? Where are you? What uni do you want to go to? You have to do well. That is me. So bringing it all into one, and it's been an amazing journey, and to see it where it is now and looking forward to what it will become. I'm even, I've got a book brewing up in me as well. So really, really excited about the launch, the information that is available, that we're going to share, the resources that I'm going to share with you so that we can blossom together. So really, really looking forward to all the wildflowers out there.
Yes.
All of the wildflowers out there, and those that are aspiring to be wildflowers, join us in this journey as we blossom regardless of our environment. Yes.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for joining us for the Wildflower Network's launch today. We will be announcing the winners very shortly, so stay posted. On our Insta and our YouTube and Facebook, so we will be announcing the winners. So stay posted. For those of you who've just joined, I was saying that we will be posting the winners of the giveaways, so keep your eyes peeled for that. And also go onto our YouTube channel. The video is out now, so go and check it out. And welcome once again to the Wildflower Network. And God bless you for tuning in.
God bless you.
Bye.